Welcome back to the potty. I think we're up to episode 9. Roll the intro.
Yeah, they call me a savage. How I'm putting in work. I hustle and grind, I put in the time, get what I deserve. Savage.
Chirp.
More than enough, bro.
More than a rainy day here in Sydney.
Rainy as hell.
Trains ain't working.
Lots of people on the road.
Yeah, but we're all good.
We all goods.
Cool. So we'll kick it off. Trial season for footy.
I didn't catch the games, but what did you
Any highlights or anything?
I saw that the injury to that Parramatta young, what's his name?
Hayzes.
Hayzes. Yeah.
He's a North Mouldy.
He's a North Mouldy, eh?
Yeah, we got him. We got him early.
That looked sore, bro. It's always
Yeah,
ouch.
so he did his ACL, PCL, and MCL. Have you done all of those?
No. Mine was clean ACL tear. Had a little bit of cartilage damage, but nothing to that extreme. That's like every ligament. See you later. It's a long time.
What's he dealing with then?
Oh, at the moment, bro, he'd probably be in the dumps.
What about pain-wise? Like
Pain wise, bro. To be honest, even just doing an ACL by itself, it's pretty painful. So I couldn't even imagine what it felt like doing the other as well. So heaps of swelling. I don't think he'd be able to move it too much. I think he'd be on that game ready, trying to ice and compress it and all that sort of stuff. So
what's that pain like when you first do it? I've broken my leg, and it's like sharp initial pain, like of a broken bone, but knees are a little bit different. So what do you sort of feel when you actually do your knee?
So I've broke the what do you call it? Like just a fracture of the radius of the forearm, and that felt like a cork. So I don't know. For a knee, bro, my equivalent to it was like stepping on a landmine. You know what I mean? For all the first 2 times. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up here. The first 2 times, it felt like stepping on a landmine. The pain was immediate. It didn't leave for like 2 to 3 weeks. That last time I did it, because I'd already had some work on there, I feel like my pain threshold was real high as well.
Yep.
I'm not too sure where he is in terms. Has he ever done?
I don't think so.
before?
I don't think he has any history of knee injuries. That might be his first. He's young as so.
Yeah, first one, man. You're just in constant pain.
Yep.
Constant head noise. You'd be battling some mental demons, that's for sure.
And it's super important that you have your support systems, which I think they're better at these days than back in our day. Eh? They've got 100%. All that sorted.
They'd have systems or stuff in place where there's sort of like a welfare, so to speak. You know, obviously they'd probably fly if he's from out of town, not from Sydney. You know, flying the family or flying his missus or flying whatever, just to get around him. And even from the club's point of view, they'd be spending a bit of time sort of planning what he can do away from footy from now on.
Yeah, it's sort of sad to see. Like I think he was going to have a real breakout year this year.
Yeah, he did really well last year, and he was. I heard, or from what I've seen as well, he was trialling really well as well.
Yep, and so I don't know. It's unfortunate in the trials that people get injured, and there's a few hammies and calves as well. I think for the Broncos and St. George. So yeah, it's unfortunate that injuries happen in these trial matches.
For that, bro, like for strains like that, what can he do? What do you suggest? Do you suggest like, you know, dropping off on the load, or do you suggest doing some work on there, or?
I just think in a team environment, there's only so much you can do, so it's good to be on top of your own things. You got to think, okay, you're doing weights in a group environment. How individualized are those programs? I always look to American sports, NFL and NBA. They have their own actual personal trainers and personal nutrition coaches, so they sort of lead the way in that. And I think that's sort of what maybe these NRL players need to look at, just that more individualized thing. They can't rely so much on their club, even though, you know what I mean, they want to do a good job, but 1 or 2 trainers can't cover, and it's no one's fault. It's just sort of how it's worked. And I think as the game gets more professional, people are making millions. Those investments are, you know what I mean, those people actually, players, athletes become investments, you know what I mean? And then I think they can actually invest more into trainers, other coaches outside. Sometimes it's a bit frowned upon. Even in America, I've heard a few podcasts of the trainers having a bit of a trouble with the clubs and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's all up to what's best for that player and, you know, how they progress their career. So just a bit of individual work, I think, some of the players need, which they're probably doing as well. And individualized stuff.
Cool. Any suggestions on what sort of individualized stuff that you would do if someone was, came and saw you with that?
Sort of assess first and then see injury history, what they're lacking in. I do a lot of mobility stuff, obviously, so it's pretty easy to pick up, man. With the Maldives guys, I felt they were super tight in hips and shoulders. Just start there.
Stuff.
Get the basic foundational mobility work, strength work, and hopefully they're ticking along. You just sort of got to make sense out of. They got 26 rounds coming up, and it's more about keeping them healthy. And on top of things, you don't want to give them too much because they're already got quite a big workload, and you don't want to give them too little that they don't get any results anyway. So it's sort of just trying to find that balance. And I think being a player myself, I know what a season goes,
Yeah.
I know how you're feeling after trials, mid-season, end of year. You know what I mean? You want to peak for the finals and all those little things I think that sometimes some other coaches miss out on. Like they don't have that experience. Yes, this big, heavy squat might be good, but they're athletes first, not weight room guys. So
it's a bit of maintenance during the season, man.
100%. You just want to maintenance everything. You've done all the heavy lifting in the preseason, and hopefully you've set up yourself so you can just maintain, keep yourself healthy, and
feeling good,
play good, feel good. Yeah. The things we didn't do.
Not for a long time, anyway. Not for a long time.
But now we can talk about it,
mad,
and help people out on the way.
Exactly.
So, what about injury wise, going back to like a season-ending injury? Like, what are you thinking? Sort of, what's the mental side of that as well? Because you've gone through it. I've gone through it in 1 year. I think I broke my leg early, one Queensland Cup season.
Yeah.
It sucks, bro.
Yeah,
because you just done a whole preseason and you're all that work and you're out.
Just for one split of a moment too.
I think one thing that saves Hayes is he's up and coming. So clubs will, he's got time. It's different.
Good point, bro.
At the end of your
Very
career,
good point,
there's context to the situations.
Yep.
And he's a young kid. He's coming through, so he's going to be able to recover.
In a good place when it comes to that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know how many years he was signed for?
A
bit of security there?
Not too sure on that part, but yeah, he was an up and coming, and
how old is he, bro?
Must be
not that it does make a difference.
Between 21, 23.
Yeah. Still got plenty of time.
Yeah, heaps of time.
Those things happen. Super disappointed. That first time I didn't know what to, like I've said before, I didn't know how to, face it, so to speak. So there was plenty of lost moments there, but the second and third time was a bit different. Super disappointed. I feel like you let not just yourself down, but everyone else around you too. You know what I mean? Because in my head, I was still the breadwinner for the family, breadwinner for my partner at the time, and all that just comes crashing down. Not saying that I'd never ever stopped making money, but the thing that I was doing day in, day out just got taken away from me. That's what it felt like.
It's a better identity. You're a footy player, and your whole identity is just
yes, and it's
bit
like
behind
the
bit deeper.
And I was like, around my time, there wasn't really much away from footy. I had to go and figure out what to do for myself. And like I've said to you before, the things I did for those first 2 years were dreadful. But towards the end of there, filling up that space and time away from the game and just actually learning about the game, working on footy IQ, doing a little bit of research on what I liked doing, what I didn't like doing, actually helped me get back bigger, badder, and stronger. I feel so.
The young kids are way more smarter than us too. I think these days they're pretty onto it,
100%.
man. Even within camp and that, I noticed okay, these young kids are coming through. But wow,
I feel like I was very emotionally immature, bro. So I was never really aware of who I was and what I was doing and all that sort of stuff. And like you said, like you're saying just then, I feel like guys like Hayes or whoever's getting injured in the last 2 to 3 years, there's a lot more awareness for them now. And it's not only just themselves, but the clubs as well. I feel like they're helping and they've got some systems and plans in place for them to make them see the bigger picture, bro. Like we keep saying, you know, the game's only a short period of time in your life. And if you can see it that from that point of view, I feel like you can come out of anything in a better mindset.
yeah. And what advice would you give to, not him, but anyone who's done their knee that like, because it's pretty common that once you do one, you do it 2 or 3 times as well. So how do you stop? Is there a way to stop that? What can we look into? What can you do?
First things first. So when you come back from an injury like that, so let's just say you've just done a year full of, you know, rehab and training and all that sort of stuff. You know, you're in pre-season for the year after. The first thing I would suggest someone doing is you can have a plan in place where you can slowly increment yourself into training, and physios and coaches will probably already do that. But if you're not in that professional athlete sense, then I would say get into it, and you need to sort of like get yourself out of being scared. I need to narrow this down for you. All right, so this is what happens. When Trent Robinson came in 2013, he said to me one pre-season that he pulled me aside actually, because I was one of those guys that used to train, and after training would finish, I'd be grabbing my knee going, fuck, my knee feels pretty red hot shit here. And he grabbed me, bro, and I'll never ever forget this conversation. And he looked me straight in the face and he said to me, Chaz, you're either going to break it again or you're going to do something like big and make it. This was 2013. I didn't rise to that challenge. I knew there was a mental block for me. And because I didn't rise to that challenge, I left 2 weeks later, got signed with Penrith Panthers. They ended up signing a couple of key players, one of them being Sonny Bill, and they won the grand final that year. Now, this is like very far-fetched, but what I'm trying to get at is I think you just got to go balls to wall.
Yep.
You know, if you are coming back from an injury, and if you're in a space where you're trying to make that team. So I wasn't young anymore. I wasn't like Hayes. I was sort of like a little bit weathered and past my time. I should have just went balls to wall.
Yeah.
Gave it all and you know, constantly went through those scares of, you know, going through motions and going through tackles and stopping and starting and getting knocks and all that sort of stuff. So I hope that narrows it down a little
Hindsight
bit.
is 20/20.
Yeah.
Exactly. All those sort of things.
So
lucky I'm a good editor. Cut all that out. But yeah, my Trent Robinson story was I had Newtown versus Windsor Wolves semi-final, and we were winning 20 points at halftime. I think Dane Laurie got sent off, so it was 13-12.
Dane Laurie, the big Dane Laurie?
I think the Aboriginal dreadlocks, huge.
Yeah.
He got sent off for something, and then it was 12-13, and then they ended up coming back, and they were winning by 4 with like 5-10 minutes to go, and I was playing wing at the time, and I pulled my quad. They kicked over the back, and I couldn't turn and chase because my quad was like, and it looked like I was doing a half effort back, and I wasn't actually putting in my full effort. And then I heard from the crowd, Troy, hurry up and get back. I can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure it was Trent Robinson. And I always, when I see, I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure he thinks I'm a weak cunt from, you know what I mean? He thought I just gave up, but I tore my quad, and I was like, I think he thinks I'm a weak dog. He probably won't remember, but yeah, it always, when I see him on TV,
we remember that shit.
It clicks in my brain.
Yeah. Like, you know, if you're getting back from an injury, just you never know. Like, I feel like if you're with it and you're, you know, past it a little bit and you need to like fight for that spot, then go and fight for it. But if you're young and you're coming through, you've got a little bit of time to work with yourself. You know, you can slowly do those, like I said, those small increments of coming back slowly and slowly. But if you're fucking at that stage where that season, that year, or that game is make or break, then go and fucking take a hold of it and make or break it.
Yeah, I think injury is opportunity to get better in other areas.
Other areas.
Not just on the field, physically, off the field as well. Dial up, read, do all those things that you want to chase that you can't do during footy season, you know what I mean? You're banged up, but you can do a lot of things, a lot of training, fix up your diet, all those other little things you can look into that you probably couldn't during the season. So he's got a good 12 months off. Or anyone who's done their knee, there's probably others out there. It's not in that pro environment. There would be a couple over the weekend that's done their knee as well.
It really all depends on, if they're working or they're not working. I think that would change.
What not to do? That's probably better. Don't drink.
Fucking don't drink, bro.
Drink your sorrows
Honestly,
away. Fucking give it up. It doesn't
drink.
even help you.
You gotta remember, anything that you inhale or anything that you put inside. I was, during my career, bro, I was still smoking cigarettes. I was still drinking.
It's fucking the worst.
It's bad, bro.
It's very glamorized in
honestly,
society.
Bro, as soon as I've given that up, and this is after my career, as soon as I've given all that shit up, I just feel a lot better. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect. I still have a beer every once in a while, but that stuff as a professional athlete, fuck, you gotta.
Especially when you're down in the dumps and
yeah, man.
That's not gonna help all that shit.
Anything that's gonna make you go that way, and you need to be self-aware and understand, which is important. We've mentioned this before about keeping a diary and doing that sort of stuff. But anything that's gonna make you go that way, you should literally be crossing off your list and getting it out.
Yeah, and all that is just numbing the real shit that you should be dealing with anyway. So it's just holding you back from really dealing with whatever you got to deal with.
Masking anything, bro.
What are we up to now? Trials?
So after trials or before trials?
I think we stick with sort of,
the vibe
first,
right now.
Yeah, first one or two. I watched Canberra Raiders versus Roosters.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good game. That was a good guy. Xavier Savage, actually. Fullback.
Family?
He looks like a gun. Nah, I don't think. I think he's Koori, Aboriginal.
Okay.
I think. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But I love fast outside backs with track experience because
Oh, so he's got that track back?
Yeah, I've seen a video online of him, and he's a sprinter. So I love when sprinters can play footy as well. And that everyone loves a bit of speed on the field. Once he's in the open space, he's gone. So
do you think he's sealed? Because was he playing NRL in the last year? Do you know anything about him?
I think he played 3 games, 3 or 4 games. Last say still super new.
Okay.
But he looks like a talent. He made a bit of a line break, set up a try. I think he scored a try. Yeah, it looks like things happen around him. Those players that are just like, I don't know, they got spiders on them, or they can just they can just something happens around them.
I've said this.
I was never that player. I have to just take scoots and dummy out But I was trying to
meter cuzzy.
Yeah, I was just a scooter. I was like, fuck me.
Meter eater, and now you're still a meter eater.
Draw and pass guy. Yeah, fuck. I was never that.
Yeah, but that's sort of you got to remember you need players like yourself in teams.
Yeah.
I used to always think I wasn't that flashy of a player. I still got picked as most things. I don't know how it worked out for me, bro. Still got those contracts.
Offload, so that was happy days.
Yeah, hard. Got that right. There's one guy that I really enjoy watching, bro. And it was the guy that played Indigenous All-Stars. And he's a centre for, I'm not too sure what his name is. Tall, rangy fella. Someone will have to comment on Instagram or something and let me know.
Yeah, I know the one.
But, mate, he plays some good footy. Sort of a mixture of GI and, that style player. Really tall, centre, strong as fuck. And he impressed me at the end of last year, and I can't wait to watch him play this year.
It was in the Q Cup Grand Final, so he played for...
Oh, did he?
Who was Rowan's team?
North.
Now, who did they play against?
I'm not too sure.
I think he was on the other side.
Okay.
Against them? I don't know. But, he was carving up in that comp as well, I think.
He's just a really good player. Enjoyed watching him. Also caught the St. George and Parramatta game. I thought there was some good signs from St. George. I think they're in a real rebuilding phase. And being involved with the Harry Matthews and watching how they've sort of put things in place, sort of like Penrith Panthers did with their young guys that have come through the grades. You know, obviously starts at a young age. I think St. George are in a good place for the next couple of years.
Yeah, they got some good young players up and coming.
Yeah,
Cool.
I watched young Molo, front row, just hard knock. They got actually the other, I'm not too sure what his name is, but the other front row as well. Just some real good yardage stuff, and just constantly on the ball, which is some good signs for the Dragons.
Yeah, 100%. And with trials, sort of, what are you looking for? What do you want to work on player wise during these trials? Bit of match fitness, get that going, eh?
Yeah, bro. Like we mentioned with Maldives, I think that's a good place for a professional athlete to see what they're up against and what they're, you know, how fit they are and all that sort of stuff. But trials is just a good place to see once again how you fit in the game system, all that sort of stuff. And it's a good chance for you to go over video and ask questions to coaches and see where or what you might be doing right or what you need to work on. Especially if you're one of those players trying to make that team. If you're not in that professional scene yet, then I suggest just spending loads and loads and loads of time getting fit and fast and strong and all that sort of stuff. And hopefully, you might get picked up on one of those cup sides and then eventually work your way up there too.
Yeah, those things that you can control, your strength, your stretching, your eating, your sleeping, your non-drinking, all those little things play a part in giving you the best opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like, man, with footy, your sort of destiny is in someone else's hands also.
Yeah.
It's not always the best situation. Yeah, you do miss out on things, but it's just trying to put the right things in place to give you the best opportunity, and that's all you can do. It's everyone else's fault. It's the coach's fault. It's this person's fault. It's that's what, you know what I mean? You get into that. I still hear it from people messaging me on Instagram and how they're like, bro, are you doing all the right things? And they went, no. Yeah. As soon as someone asks, like, says, the coach has it in for me, I'd say, what are you doing? You know what I mean? To get better, because sometimes those opportunities can happen in other clubs. And
ticking all the boxes, bro. You know, if you're there's, and once again, we've said this over the past couple episodes, but if you're ticking every box that you can think of to be picked, and if you still don't get picked, then you know in your head you've done everything that you can. All right, I think there's a place, there's like a fucking grey area for a lot of these guys. Had a good conversation with this guy who's I won't name him actually, but he's back in New Zealand at the moment, and he's wanting to come back and hit the scene again, and he. Not saying anything bad, but he was, you know, sort of asking me questions of what should I do. I said, well, you need to fucking be as strong as you can. What does that look like? And then he sort of gets a plan together. And the whole point of this plan was to showcase, you know, that you are as fit as you need to be, that you are as strong as you need to be, that you're ticking all the boxes, so that if you get a chance or an opportunity to be in front of a coach or a trainer or even, you know, anyone in front of the stage, then you have every right to show performance, and that's what people are looking for. And
don't be a bluff. Don't be 10 kilos overweight and you're like, I want to get back into that.
No,
you know what I mean?
That ain't going to prove it, because you just look like a fraud. No one likes a fucking fraud.
Yeah.
Especially me.
Don't talk shit.
Don't talk itch-shays, bro.
Because you get, I don't know, people can see through that like super easy. Doesn't matter what you say, like people see through words easy these days. You know, it's the actions and your presence as you roll up in that room and you had to speak to the coach.
Example of this, bro. So when I was at Penrith, I still remember this, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this to you, but Ivan Cleary said to me, you wouldn't last 10 minutes on the field in NRL. Fucking broke me, bro.
Yeah.
I was broken. But the point of him trying to get at is he was right. I couldn't have. You know, I wasn't ticking every box. And that's the sort of mentality that these guys need to have, even if you're a pro or if you're not a pro. All right. If you're ticking every box, if you're as fit as you know you can be, or if you're still striving to be fitter, then make sure you're doing that. If you're doing all your strength work, if you're applying everything and putting into practice, and then one day you get your opportunity and it works for you, then you fucking done the right thing, and that's when you just reload and go again. But if you're not getting it done, then fuck, you're not going to get picked. It's pretty simple, bro.
Yeah, you keep ticking the boxes, even if it doesn't, plan out, then it just doesn't plan out. Those skills and discipline that you've put into your body and your work and footy career, they can carry over to your actual, your life. And you got good disciplines or not, you're going to be successful no matter what. So I find that's super important.
Yeah.
Character-wise as well.
Hard.
Done?
That's it, my bro.
That's 26 minutes. Beauty.
26 minutes
Shot,
of
bro.
straight love. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, they call me a savage. How I'm putting in work. I hustle and grind, I put in the time, get what I deserve. Savage.